PR Connections Radio presents. This episode of the Sunday Morning Chat Series is brought to you by Classy Communications PR and Advertising. Classy Communications provides public relations and marketing solutions for businesses, professionals, and nonprofit organizations. They can deliver the true meaning of your business with press releases, social media marketing, web development, email marketing, book publishing, and much more. Wherever your potential clients are, they can help you connect with them. Visit classycommunications.net to learn more about their suite of services that can help your business stand out from the rest. Classy Communications is your solution for business success.
Hello there, and welcome to the Sunday Morning Chat Series with Jesse Oakley III. And this is your host, Jesse Oakley III. And the purpose of the Sunday Morning Chat Series is for yours truly to interview a plethora of positive people that are making big differences in the community. Whether they're speakers, authors, writers, entertainers, athletes, anyone that's doing something big in the community, you'll hear from them first right here on the Sunday Morning Chat Series with Jesse Oakley III. And today, we have ourselves a wonderful episode for you. Now, I have a chance to actually interview a plethora of authors and a plethora of speakers. Now, if I get a chance to interview an author and a speaker, that is a double wow right there. And I am honored and I am thrilled to actually have this person on the podcast on this episode because I've been reaching out to this guy for quite a while and because I've seen what he's doing and I'm amazed and I'm impressed with the work that he's doing as an author and a speaker. Please help me welcome none other than Mr. Joe Peach Graves. Hey, Joe, how's it going?
I am fantastic, iconic this morning. How are you doing today, Jesse?
Woo, iconic. That is a darn good word, my friend. I hopefully we get as iconic as you are right now because overall, this is truly a fantastic experience and I really appreciate this wonderful opportunity. And with Joe, with that being said, are you ready to go?
Let's start.
All right, without further delay, let's chat. Now, I had a chance to research Joe Peach Graves, and I actually understood that he actually wrote a book. And one of the things I like to discuss is, what is your book, and what's the main premise about your book? What's it all about, man?
So the book is called The Power of Mental Wealth. And the basic idea is that it's a collection of stories and lessons by some just incredible thought leaders of how they overcame some of the biggest challenges in their life. And it's a book that is joined with me and my mentor, Johnny Winbury, a beautiful young woman named Heather Monahan, and the absolute legend himself, Les Brown, is on the book, along with another 15 or 20 authors, and each of us bring our own kind of flavor. My chapter is on compersion. Have you ever heard that word before, Jesse?
I've never heard of that word. What is compersion by chance?
So compersion is defined as the wholehearted participation in the happiness of other people as opposed to jealousy. So on the quadrant of pain and joy, when you have joy for somebody else's joy, that's compersion. When you have pain for somebody else's joy, that is jealousy. Pain for somebody else's pain is empathy, and joy for somebody else's pain is Schadenfreude. It's a German word that means pain joy. And while all humans exist on all four planes at some point in their lives, I think the place that would be best to live in is when you're joyful for somebody else's joy. And that word is compersion. And I think that educating people that there's a word for it, that you don't just say, don't be jealous. I'm just a big believer in the power of words. And when you say don't be, it's like saying don't be late. It is much better to say be on time. So have compersion and have joy for the people in your life and anywhere else when they are winning. And it'll bring more success to you.
I tell you what, the word of the day, happy people, is compersion. Please use that word in vocabulary. Not only just use the word, use it in action with compersion. And Joe, I really appreciate the word of the day, my friend. And that is you mentioned a great lineup of people, including Les Brown. And all those people are truly inspiring, and you are inspiring as well too, my friend.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
All right. Now, the next question I do have for you is, you're an author, you're a speaker, you're taking on double duty roles. And I was wondering, there's so many people out there that say they want to be in this situation where you can be an author and a speaker at the same time. Now, when it comes to that ventures, those two ventures, we all have our day one of being an author and a speaker. What was your day one like of being both?
So I was born. No, I'm not going to go that far back. But the idea is that they came out of necessity.
Okay.
I saw that there were people who were having success, and my definition of success is the pursuit. Sorry, I just forgot my own definition of success.
It happens.
Right? Success is when wow, I am so brain fogging right now. Success is the realization of a worthy ideal, the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Sorry about that. So when you have something that's worth doing, it's worth doing it all the way. And so I started speaking just to be better at my work, right? To get further ahead and be more successful. And as part of speaking, I started telling my story. And my story was about, a time that I had to overcome where I had to employ compersion, even though I was going through a very hard time, even though this person's happiness really felt like it was costing me something in the moment. So it would have been very natural for me to be jealous or me to be upset. And I chose compersion, and it turned out well. In me telling my story more and more, the people who hear your story, sometimes you never know who is listening. And someone that heard my story invited me to be an author on this book series. So it was through that invite, and literally it was, hey, we're writing this book. We think that your story would fit perfectly, and we just lost an author. We have one spot left. Can you write your story? Can you write your chapter in 3 weeks? I did it in 3 hours. Because I knew the story so well. I'd been telling it so much that I wrote it down. I sent it in. We did a few edits here and there, and it was published. And it was just an amazing experience. And it all started with just feeling comfortable telling my story to other people. And I say that to people on their day one of speaking, is that if you can learn to tell your story, that's the first way to inspire others.
You hit the nail right there. You hit the nail right there on the head, my friend. And it's got to take that action. And you basically your words reminded me of Steve Harvey. In order to do something great, you have to jump. And there's so many people that are afraid to jump, but that's where they lie. Is when it comes to doing whatever you want to do, whether become an author, whether become a speaker, whether it's to tell your story, you have to jump. And you give an example on how to jump into what you need to do in order to get to where you need to go. So that is an amazing story, and actually an amazing day one within your progress. And another question I do have for you is, there are some of the challenges that we face as authors and speakers that we're able to overcome. And I think you may have hit on this a little bit earlier. Now, when it comes to being an author and a speaker in your adventures and ability to jump, what were some of the challenges you overcame in those environments?
Probably one of the biggest challenges for me was just believing that my story was worth telling. I grew up thinking relatively little of myself. I knew that I could work hard. I knew that, I had what I had. I didn't necessarily think I was a terrible person or that I was unattractive but I didn't think I was that great. And so the thing that I had to overcome was just believing that my story was worth telling and that I could go on ahead and share that with enough people to make a difference in somebody's life. And, it's funny because, again, it came out of necessity, right? I was like, I want to be successful at my work. I have to speak. And so thankfully I had mentors. Thankfully I had people like Johnny Winbury, people like Mo Jones, people that basically told me that whatever it is that you're telling people, You have to add yourself in there if you want to be successful in reaching them. And so that need helped me overcome my fear that I wasn't worth sharing my story with people, because I had to do it. And what I noticed was that as I started to share my story, I started to notice it making a difference in people's life. And it's those little successes, right? It's those little moments where you see the evidence of something occurring that really helps you take it to the next level. And that's what I had to overcome myself.
And I tell you, your story reminds me of myself. And when I was a younger kid, I was bullied in school, and bullying is not cool at any point. And for myself, when it come after that, going through that type of stuff, I thought I was worthless. I thought I was hopeless. I thought I wasn't going to be sugar honey iced tea per se,
Right.
and I thought that I was not going to do that. But luckily, I went to a high school a private school, and they were actually there to help me out. And I called high school at that time a 4-year rebuilding process. There were priests, there were nuns, there were people that actually saw something in me to the point where I was able to graduate from there and actually turn my life around thanks to that high school. And in addition to that, I also had a chance to go into college, go into civil engineering, do 6 years of that, and go into that, and actually get more confidence and be able to believe in myself, and also getting into an organization where I did speaking and becoming an author and being able to take on different adventures in life. And it's like that you look at it right now. It's like this kid that was once bullied, that was once called a nerd, that was once called a geek, that was once called a loser, go into that and to create all that doubt, to be able to stand over there. I tell you what, if I had a time machine, Joe, it would be like if I could go back to myself, and the kid would probably tell me, "Get out of here." But it
Exactly.
does happen. If it happens for you, it happens for me. It can happen to anybody else. So that is a challenge, especially be those doubts, and those doubts can be walls. But the only way to get through those doubts is actually believe in yourself, and you and I are perfect examples of that, Joe.
That's right. And aren't we grateful for those haters? Aren't we
Oh,
grateful for those people that would bully us and tell us that we weren't worthy? Because my Johnny Wimbury says often, he says that some things make people break, other
mhm.
things create record breakers. And I feel like that is something that is so true, that we all go through challenges. And when you go through those challenges, it can break some people or it can create a record breaker. And that is your choice. So those people, if they weren't there, I wouldn't go as hard. And I know you probably wouldn't as either.
Exactly. Ain't that the truth, my friend? Ain't that the truth?
Yes. Yes.
Whew. Now, yes, yes, indeed. Now, another question I do have for you is your best moments. What has been the best moments you experienced in your overall journey?
As a speaker, I will say that it wasn't so much the getting paid. It was two things. Two
Okay.
things as a speaker. One, through the Toastmasters organization. That's where you and I connected, and I was a Hawaii state champion of public speaking 3 years in a row. And one of the years that I won, I made it to the semifinals of the International Speak Contest. And that experience was absolutely amazing. The second thing as a speaker was, and this is relatively recent.
Okay.
I went to my daughter's school and heard her teachers speaking. And I don't know if this is just a Hawaii thing. Maybe the happy people that watch your show can let us know. But in Hawaii, the teachers are not always the best speakers. In
Hmm.
fact, I heard so many ums and ahs and just incoherent conversations that they were having as we went through our tour of the school. And I was taken aback. So I reached out to the school and I asked, would it be possible for me to teach some public speaking classes at the
Hmm.
school? And they were open to it. So since my daughter was in fifth grade, I've been teaching public speaking mastery courses for her 5th, 6th, and 7th grade year. I'll probably teach again next year. And
Right.
teaching these young people how to more effectively use their voices is absolutely one of my greatest moments. And then as an author, the first time someone I didn't know recognized me because they purchased my book
Ooh.
blew my mind. They were like, hey, did you write a book? Because, one of the things of this project that I was in, I'm on the front cover.
Mm-hmm.
So they saw this book on a table. They grabbed it and started reading it, and my story helped them. And I didn't know who they were. That moment was just incredible.
Oh my goodness, those two amazing moments, and they are truly fantastic. And it goes to show you, you never know how much of a difference you make when it comes out reaching out to people and actually touching them in the same process. So those are two great examples about making a difference in a wonderful community. I love hearing those stories. I love hearing about the differences. And speaking of which, let's say you're at a function, whether it be for your book or whether it be for a public speaking engagement or any opportunity, and there's that up and coming person who wants to be an author and a speaker. They come to you and say, Joe, you are an inspiration to me. I want to be like you, and I want to step in your shoes and be this amazing author and dynamic speaker like you. Now, if there is someone who is up and coming that heard those words and basically told you that, what advice would you give to that up and coming individual?
I'm a big believer of the idea of starting with why, right? The what will come based on who you are and why it is you want to do whatever it is you want to do. But if you really dig in to why you want to be a speaker, why you want to be an author, and it touches you deeply, right? I've heard the phrase, if your why doesn't make you cry, it's not strong enough, right? So if your why is strong enough, you will do everything you need to do to make it happen. And that would be my advice, is just to really get clear on why, and then just go do the thing. I mean, I watched a few of the episodes, and so many different speakers that you interview say just do it. And I think that is so true, because we are going to fail forward. We are going to make mistakes. It is never going to be perfect. But if you understand why you're doing it and you do it, you'll get better and better, and you'll have great success.
Bam. Wonderful advice for an up and coming person that is going to be an author and a speaker. So if you happen to be an author and a speaker, happy people, listen to those wise words, because you got to do it. You got to take your first steps. You got to fail forward. You got to just take those bit by bit moments. And next thing you know, you have your own journey, and you'll be having people wondering if they could be in your shoes. That is that's the process that you got to take care of. Now, a question I do have for you is, how can more people know about Joe Peach Graves? Is there a website they can go to? Is there Amazon they can go to? Where could they go to know more about you?
Yep. So I have joepeachgraves.com, and that's currently leading directly to the book. So you can definitely go there. I also have paradiseforeverhawaii.com. That is the community that I build. That's where I teach people how to turn their vacations into income. And that has information about how to schedule time with me. There are also links to the book there, links to my Hawaii State Champion in Public Speaking speech. And so lots of great things there. And then, feel free to just email me, joepeach@joepeachgraves.com.
And again, those information right there, just check it out, because you will not be disappointed with what Joe Peach Graves has to offer. And I tell you what, I love interviewing winners, and my friend Joe Peach right here, he is a true bona fide winner indeed. Now,
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Now, this next portion of the interview is a shout out portion, and it gives you a chance to give a shout out to as many people as you possibly can that made your journey possible. So if you would like to give a shout out to all the people that made your journey possible, who would you like to give a shout out to?
You know what? I'm going to start with someone way back.
All right.
Professor Cow. Professor Cow was my senior English teacher in high school. And she inspired me so much. She inspired me to get back into theater. I had done some theater when I was a kid, but I was Tony in West Side Story with her. And she organized a trip to Greece and Rome for our senior high school cats from Hawaii. So I went to Greece and Rome. I got the travel bug, and that kind of led me to everything I'm doing today. So shout out Miss Cow. Shout out to June Dillinger. I'm not sure if you're familiar with her, but she's a distinguished Toastmaster as well. Incredible leader out here in Hawaii. I love her Hearts cards that she is building. Definitely somebody you should probably interview if you haven't reached out to her already. Shout out to Johnny Wimbry. Oh my gosh, this gentleman, talk about finding a mentor. And what I love is that he gave me a chance to connect with him, right? He created a system that I follow today that you could find your way into his mentorship if you took specific steps. He had a very clear step-by-step process to reach into his world and to have him as one of your mentors. And by opening that up to me, it's opened doors that I don't even know where they're going to lead. And then, like I said, to the folks that didn't believe I could.
Exactly.
Because there are so many people out there that have either thought my ideas were a little bit pie in the sky or thought that I wasn't going to do something. And that is all you need to do to get me to go do something, is tell me I can't do it, right? I am gonna do it at that point. So thank you to those people. And then last but not least, in fact, most important, is my daughter. If you're watching this, I love you so much, Jolinda, and I'm really looking forward to our vacation in California coming up. It's going to be a fun summer. I'm looking forward to visiting.
Man, that's an amazing lineup, and especially the one at the end. That's what it was all about. All these people making a big difference, is whether they're on the good side or whether they're the opposite side or in between. These people made a difference in who you are, Joe, and that's quite a list that you have there for the shout out portion.
Hey, you gave me the time to do it, so I appreciate that.
With pleasure, my friend, with pleasure. Now, the one question I do have for you is addressed to the people that watch this podcast, the fans that I do have here on the Sunday morning chat series. And these fans are called the happy people. And every time I ask this question, the happy people have their minds blown with the wise words of wisdom. So if you have one more solid wise words of wisdom for my people and my crew, the happy people, what would it be?
I've already said a lot on this podcast, and what I don't know if really got across is your experiences are incredibly valuable. Your story is incredibly valuable. And as you go through your life, be intentional about having the sorts of experiences that are aligned with the person you want to be. Life has challenges, life has things that get in the way, but the things that you want to do are generally either things that somebody has already done or at least have some framework in reality. And if somebody's done it, you can do it. One of the things that Johnny says that I absolutely love, Mr. Wimbry, he says that, confidence and arrogance are two slightly different things. Okay. Arrogance is when you think you're better than other people. Confidence is when you know nobody is better than you. And remembering that is such a huge thing for me. And I think that that's something your happy people can take to the bank, and it'll help them become the successes that they want to become.
You hear that, Joe? That's the minds of people that's growing up right now from the happy people. You just dropped a wonderful, wise words of wisdom. That's right. Kaboom indeed. And this is a perfect bookend to a wonderful episode. And on behalf of the happy people that are watching this, Joe, I thank you for taking the time to be here on the Sunday Morning Chat Series with Jesse Oakley III. Thank you, Joe.
My absolute pleasure. Anytime.
Alrighty, and this concludes this episode of the Sunday Morning Chat Series. For more about PR Connections, you can go to prconnectionsradio.com. But wait, there's more. If you want to see a plethora of podcasts that are under the PR Connections brand, go to YouTube, type up PR Connections, and check out the plethora of podcasts that are out there, including the Sunday Morning Chat Series with Jesse Oakley III. But wait, there's also more. If you want to see some past episodes that I've done about a plethora of positive people making big difference in the community, go to YouTube again and type up Sunday Morning Chat Series. Again, Sunday Morning Chat Series. Subscribe, hype, like, comment, and share the wise words and wisdoms I had from all these people that I've interviewed. And I've done interviews in 2020, 2021, 2024, 2025, and right here, right now in 2026. That is right. 5 years and hundreds of episodes of the Sunday Morning Chat Series with Jesse Oakley III waiting for you. And this, on behalf of Joe and myself, I thank you for taking the time to be on this episode of the Sunday Morning Chat Series. Stay tuned for our next episode, which will take place Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Until then, you take care of yourselves and always, always, always have yourself a great day. Bye and mahalo.
Aloha.
The Cause Marketing Chamber of Commerce brings businesses and nonprofit organizations together to create synergistic relationships that benefit the community. Join our tribe to network with community and business partners, increase sales, improve fundraising efforts, differentiate your brand, help worthy nonprofits, and more. Become a member today. Visit our website, causemarketingchamber.com, to see how we can help you grow your business or your nonprofit organization. Click on the Join Now button at causemarketingchamber.com. Help us build a world where social responsibility is the new bottom line. PR Connections Radio thanks you for watching this podcast. Check out more episodes of this show and our others at prconnectionsradio.com.